Welcome, everybody, to another entrepreneurial skills session. I hope you enjoyed the intro music. You saw it just there. We use the lo-fi hip hop beats. It's a live stream. I'd recommend checking it out. It's pretty good for studying. Also makes really good intro music. Welcome to the third session on YouTube, but session number 7 of the Techstars Toolkit. We're walking our way through it. There are 18 of these, and today we are going to be going through the give your elevator pitch section of it. What I will say is today is a bit quicker than the ones we have done thus far. It does only have one video, but I have a few little things to share afterwards and a bit of an exercise that you can go through and something to kind of take away after this that you might be able to put into practice. Again, for anybody who's here for the first time for the session, I am Joseph Lanzillotta. I manage the Student Entrepreneurship program at Tangent in Trinity College Dublin, and this is part of our move to online as we manage the COVID-19 outbreak. We're moving a lot of our stuff online, but also I want to be able to provide value, and the Techstars Entrepreneurial Toolkit is something that is out there and I think is a great resource, so it's a bit of learning for me and learning alongside you guys. I've gone through a lot of them. I've seen this elevator pitch one in particular a number of times, but the goal of this is to create a space to be able to watch some videos. I'm here to answer any questions you guys have. And feel free, if you do have questions as we go along, type them into the chat. I know I'm here to answer questions, and over the past few sessions, a lot of people have been helping out themselves, so it's a bit of a community in that way. I see Colum's back from yesterday, so welcome back, Colum. And without further ado, I think we're just going to dive right into the elevator pitch. So giving your elevator pitch, 30 seconds may be all the time you have to get the attention and curiosity of an investor or prospective customer. This means you must be able to describe what customers you serve, the problem those customers have, and the solution to your product provides. So a lot of the things we've been doing thus far are building up to the how you can provide value, or building up to what is your customer's problem, what is the real problem that they have, and then how can you address it. And this, we're actually just trying to condense all of the value of your business into one short session. The way I typically talk about an elevator pitch is it is meant to be the bait to start the next conversation. You're never going to get everything about your business across or your idea across in just that elevator, but the idea is that in that elevator where you're going up and you've just met somebody, you're going to be able to say enough that they ask a question that you don't have the time to answer in the elevator, and therefore can either hand them a business card and say, hey, if you want the answer to that question, reach back out to me, or you can say, hey, I'd love to answer that for you. What's the best way for me to reach you and follow up, and maybe we can give you a bit more information. So that's my intro to the elevator pitch. I see a few of you guys in the comments who I recognize. So welcome back, Margaret. Welcome back, Joseph. Happy to see you guys again. Again, you've all contributed before. Help out anybody who's new here today, and we'll go right through it. So with Give Your Elevator Pitch, we are looking to crafting a good elevator pitch is critical for all startups. In this topic section, Nicole Glaros will show you how to effectively describe your business. So Nicole Glaros is from Techstars. She's going to give you the introductory. She's going to give you the description of how to give your elevator pitch. It's pretty straightforward, but just so you know, afterwards I have a little template, and in the exercises that we're going to do after, it walks you through how to build this out. So don't feel like you need to take down feverish notes as we go through this. Also, the video is going to be recorded and uploaded, so you can watch it again if you'd like. So there is just one video for today, so we're going to go into pitch your business. In this video, you'll learn how to build and refine your pitch so that you can give a compelling description of your business in under 30 seconds. And that's the goal, is under 30 seconds, because that's the approximate amount of time you might have with somebody in an elevator to get your idea across to them before they have to go or you have to go or whatever happens next. So without further ado, we're going to dive right in. I'm going to play the video, but again, if there is any issue with the audio and I haven't recognized it, please just put that in the comments and we'll play it again.
Hi, I'm Nicole Glaros, and I am a partner here at Techstars. I've been helping startups prepare their pitches for almost a decade, and I'm here to help you guys learn how to craft an amazing elevator pitch. Your elevator pitch is a fundamental building block in communicating the value of your startup to others, but so many entrepreneurs suck at it. Usually, when an entrepreneur is giving their elevator pitch, what most people hear is, "Hi, I'm the CEO of blah blah, and my startup does blah 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 with a little bit of AI and blah blah machine learning and cryptocurrency." Startups just haven't figured out how to use the communication and the language of the everyday people, and I'm here to help you figure that out for your startup. So first of all, what is an elevator pitch? An elevator pitch is simply 1 to 2 sentences that describes your business in 20 to 30 seconds max. That's a really short period of time for you to effectively communicate your business. And the goal of your elevator pitch is not only to get people to understand what your company does, but also get some level of engagement. You want them to ask questions. You want them to get excited. And so what we're going to do will help you achieve both of those goals. Now, first of all, you need to understand the framework. The framework is for customers that have problem X, we provide solution. So let me try that again because I know it's a little complicated. For customers who have a problem, we provide a solution. Now let me give you some examples because I know that was a little abstract. Pana is a company that went through a Techstars program, and I'm on their board, so I feel qualified to talk about this one. If I were delivering Pana's elevator pitch, what I would say is, for hiring managers that don't want to spend time booking or reimbursing travel, Pana is a chat-based travel concierge that allows candidates to book travel without the hassle of reimbursement or scheduling. Notice that I had all 3 segments in there: who the customer was, what the problem we were solving, and what the solution was. Here's another example from a Techstars company. For homeowners that don't want the hassle of home maintenance, Prefix sends a maintenance crew to your house twice a year to do those annoying chores like clean out the lint from your dryer vent or change your air filter. In both of these examples, notice that I don't say what the company does. Rather, I say how they do what they do. For example, I don't say that Pana is a travel concierge. You might not know what that means. But what I do say is how they do what they do, that they leverage a chat-based interface. The how you do what you do is key to get people to understand what you do. Now that you have the framework down, what I want you to do is write down 5 versions of this elevator pitch on a piece of paper. Practice those various versions with different people. You actually need to use a real audience to do this. Use their feedback to tweak it. And you want to iterate on that pitch until you get it solid. Once it's solid, make sure that everybody on your team can say the elevator pitch in the exact same way every single time. Once everybody can say it every single time, then I want you to start to pay attention to the questions that you get from people as you deliver your elevator pitch. Questions are an indication of A, how interested they are in what you're doing, but B, also where they're engaging and how clearly they understood the message of your elevator pitch. Once you get a sense of the questions that you're being asked consistently, I want you to practice those answers. Oftentimes, that's the first point of engagement with a person where you're answering a question that they ask, and when you can answer that question solidly, it gives them confidence in you as an entrepreneur. So, in summary, your elevator pitch should be 1 to 2 sentences long and no longer than about 30 seconds. You want to iterate on it until it's solid. You want to make sure that everybody on your team is got the same consistent message, so practice until perfect. You want to practice your answers as well. So if you have an extra 10 or 15 seconds, there are a couple extra pieces that you can add in that will add a little bit more color to your elevator pitch. One is what we call unlike. An unlike is just comparing you to the competition. So if I were to add an unlike to Pana's elevator pitch, what I might say is, unlike the hiring manager or a travel agent booking the travel, Pana uses a chat-based tool to interface with a candidate, allowing the candidate's choice of travel to be used while the company is still paying for the travel. Another section that you can add to an elevator pitch to make it interesting is how you make money. So if I was going to add this to prefixes, what I might say is, Prefix makes money by charging homeowners an annual fee, allowing them to build all of the costs of their maintenance into one simple and easy to understand package for homeowners. And that is the formula for a perfect elevator pitch. My name's Nicole. Thanks for listening. Signing off.
Very good. So it's pretty straightforward. So I know she went through a number of different templates and things there. The first thing I'm going to show you guys, I'm just going to put it up on the screen. So if you want to take a picture of it or you'll have the ability to look back at it, is a slide that I had created kind of based off of what she had said there. So this is my kind of slide, and I know I'm cutting off a little bit of it here, just here, sorry, but that says money. So for customers with problem, we provide solution. So that's the base of your elevator pitch. That's what you're going to say no matter what. That's your first statement to somebody when they ask you about what your idea is or if you want to share with them what it is you're working on. Then I have put in there the pause for questions. You want to pause for questions and you want to actively pause for questions. I know I'm very guilty of it when I am starting to talk about my business. I get very excited and I want to tell everybody about it and I want to keep talking about it. And you may keep talking so long that the question the person had, they're going to forget. So it's really important to practice remembering to pause. So for customers with problem, we provide solution. And then I put in the unlike and the company and the money statement that you mentioned at the end, just so it's all in one place. You have unlike competitors, we, and then how you differentiate. And this is your unique selling point. So you may differentiate on a number of metrics. There may be a number of different ways that you differentiate, but this is your number one reason or top two reasons or methodologies for differentiating with any other company. It's what's the one thing that's going to make somebody decide on your business or buy your product over another? And for anybody who was here with us yesterday doing the branding of a company, it's a really good exercise for going through and deciding what are your key features and benefits to a consumer that you want to get out there. And then after you pause again, the last statement is company name, makes money, and then how you make money. I think this is a very important statement when you're working on kind of either a nonprofit or if you're working for a social enterprise of some sort where it may not be directly obvious how you make money. So for customers with problem, we provide solution. Unlike competitors, we, how you differentiate, company name, makes money, and how you make money. That in essence is your elevator pitch. So there are exercises, and I'm going to walk you guys through them in just a second from Techstars, but that is the end goal of what you're looking to create. And then the goal is to practice that with as many people as possible. As Nicole in the video recommended, it's good to make maybe 5 different ones of these that are actively different and practice each one of them to kind of see which one works best and what sort of feedback you get from customers. But the next thing that I do as a really potentially useful exercise is to go and practice it with people without answering questions. So I'm just going to take a second. I'm reading here in the comments. So if branding session here on YouTube, Joe, can I look back over it? Yes, Margaret. So the branding session we did yesterday. So if you go after this, you could go back into the YouTube channel, the Tangent YouTube channel, and it's all up there. So you can see the discussion and everything that we went through the Techstars Toolkit. Also, if you want to go through it yourself at your own pace, the link to the Techstars Toolkit website is in the description of this video. So you can go down, click the Techstars Toolkit, and go to brand your business and just go through the actual exercises yourself. So yep, I hope that helps. Also, welcome to Marie. I think Margaret, I think Colin, I think Joseph have all been here before. Welcome, Marie. Thanks for jumping into the chat. We have a number of people here today. So yeah, so back to this. It's for company with problem, we provide solution. Unlike competitors, we, how you differentiate, company name, makes money, and then how you make money. And I'm just going to go to my next slide, which is something that I typically go through if I can. I have to click here. Nope. 2 seconds. Just going to go to the next slide and present it. So yeah, so this is my method for practicing when I'm creating an elevator pitch or when I am helping people create their elevator pitch. You want to practice with 3 people or as many people as you possibly can. This is when it's in a finite amount of time, and write down 3 questions, the top 3 questions you get from each person. So the key to this, though, is that you don't answer them. You can let them know this is an exercise, this is something I'm working on, I'm just trying to craft this pitch, and I really just want feedback on the questions to write them down. And maybe after you've written them down, you can answer them. But what I find is that when you try to give your answers off the top of your head to all of the questions you start to get, you can tend to ramble, and you don't necessarily give the best answer that's going to do your business or your idea justice. So the key to this is to then write them down, take them away with you, come up with thoughtful, well-crafted answers, and then in the same way that you practiced your elevator pitch, go back and practice answering those questions, because typically there are some that are going to come up over and over and over again, and this is a really good way to reassess your elevator pitch. So if somebody's asking you after you've done your elevator pitch, sorry, can you clarify, after you've done the first part, can you clarify how does this business make money? Then maybe it makes sense for you to actually off the bat say your how you make money statement, just to get that out of the way and be further down the road of the questions they may have. It's just a way of gauging what sort of questions you're going to get back and having thoughtful, prepared answers to those questions. So that's an exercise that I recommend going through. What I am going to do now is take you back through the actual Techstars exercises. So we're just on the screen here. So when you click here, you go to do the exercises. And again, the link is down in the description if you guys want to go through it yourselves. This is the elevator pitch framework as it was laid out. A few key tips. There's the example of Panna that she had used. And so in starting to write your pitch, there are a few questions you can start to answer. So the first blank you have to fill in is who is your customer? So for customers with problem, right? You start out by answering the question, what have you learned about your ideal customer and how do they identify themselves? There's an exercise that had been done last week called running empathy interviews. It's getting to know your customers is the exercise from the Toolkit. It's a really good way to start yourself off with being able to answer the questions like what language does the customer use? How does the customer identify themselves? These are the sort of things that you want to start looking at before you're even at the point of crafting this. Now you could do it from the beginning, but it's a lot easier once you've actively talked to your customers and can put in their language what it is that the problem is that they may have. So who are your customers? Then you can write down what are 3 to 5 ways you might state who your customer is. Which one is best? So it's again the exercise of putting as many as you can, or maybe 3, and then refining them down. So shoot as wide as you possibly can. Here are some ways I might describe my customer. And you can even ask them, which would you pick to describe you as a customer for this product? And then if you were to speak with a potential customer, what question might you ask them before your pitch? So say I was about to go onto a stage and pitch Tangent, right, as a entrepreneurial hub, and my customer is students, right? So students of Trinity College Dublin. Asking a student from Trinity College Dublin who knows what Tangent is, at least briefly, hey, what do you think is important for me to say when I go on stage? That's the question you want to be thinking about, because it's what is your customer really care about? That's what you want to be communicating, because you're just the middleman or the middle person between the customer who has a problem and that solution being pitched to the judges or whoever's listening to your presentation. So the closer you can be to the customer when you're presenting, the better off you'll tend to be. So that's starting to know about the customer. Then you go in to think about the customer's problem. So what are your problem statements from the customer discovery work? So this was the customer discovery work I talked about before. Again, you can go back to some of the previous sessions and look at them. All of them are in the toolkit, but you can go to creating your problem statements. And when you create your problem statements, you'll list them in here. Then what are 3 to 5 ways you might refine the words you choose? So what this is just de-wording your explanation. It's just that you have a long description of how things work or what your customer's problem is. If you asked me what my problem is with some sort of thing, I'm going to describe it to you, but it may take me a while to describe it. This is an exercise of refining what is the simplest, most concise way I can describe that problem. So once you've done that, then it's time to talk about your solution. This is usually the most straightforward part of the exercise. Once you've addressed the problem and who the customer is that has that problem, you know your solution or you know what you're trying to bring to the table. So this tends to be the easiest part. What's your unique value among your competition? This is how you're different, your unique statement. What's your unique selling point? What do other people say your solution is? This you can get from interviews with other people who you have pitched your elevator pitch to. What do they say about your solution, or how would they describe your solution? Asking somebody once you pitch your idea to them, how would you describe my idea, is actually a really good exercise you can implement sometimes. I've done it before. Sometimes you get some positive feedback, some negative feedback, but either way, it's good to get the feedback on people who might say, hey, I don't quite understand what your business is. If that's the answer, that's a challenge that you need to then overcome in your presentation. But sometimes people can be better at describing your business simply when they've heard it for the first time. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, we'll tend to get caught up in the idea that our business should be known. So everybody should just understand it right away because we understand it so well. It's often a breath of fresh air to let other people try to describe what your business is. So just another thing you can implement. And then the final question there, how might you talk about how you do what you do as opposed to what you do? So again, it's a lot of words. How you do it versus what you do. And this was really well explained in the session we did yesterday. In the branding session, as well as in session 5, position your product. So when you're trying to position your product, how you do what you do is the important part versus exactly what you do. So that's what's going to connect to the customer. How are you going to solve my problem for me? So those are the questions for talking about your solution. Once you've done that, now it's your turn. Think back to your elevator scene. It's just you and that impossible to reach prospect that is now, and it's now or never. Use the prompts below to build your elevator pitch. So off of the 3 sections where you filled in the information, you can then go on and go, who is your customer? What customer problem does your company solve? And how does your company provide a solution to your customer's problem? Once you have those 3, you fill it into the template of 4 customers that have problem. We provide a solution, right? And then you have your elevator pitch. It's a great way to start it out. And again, you can build off of that with the template I showed you guys before, where you have the unlike statement and the how you make money statement if you want to have those in the bank, just in case you want to say a bit more. And then the last part is essentially just practicing. So practice your pitch and then having some questions for your person you're pitching to afterwards, like what questions they have for you, definitely, but looking at, did they seem engaged? You can ask, was there anything I said that confused you? Because sometimes people won't naturally say they were confused, but if you give them the opening to say, hey, I know this is my elevator pitch and you're probably going to try to be nice to me about it, but was there anything I said that was confusing? Did I use clear everyday language? That's something that you can get when you have somebody else describe your business back to you. After you give them the pitch and they describe it back to you, they'll often use more plain language because they're less crafting a pitch. They're more just describing what they heard. And often that can help inform you in creating your elevator pitch. So that is the end of the exercise for today in terms of developing it through. I'm going to go back one more time just to the presentation that I had here. 2 seconds, pop this up on the screen. So this is what you're creating. 4 customers with problem. We provide solution. Unlike competitors, how you differentiate. Company name, makes money, and then how you make money. This is the end game of it. Once you have that and you've crafted that in a few different ways, you can then go on to practicing it with 3 people, get the feedback you want. And then the last thing I'll pop up here is every team member must be able to answer all questions. Now, this is key. Everybody being able to answer all questions is a really important thing because often in pitching, we think, how would you present it if you're on stage? But the reality is when you're pitching on stage or you're doing an elevator pitch in the background, it tends to be a once-off thing and there's a Q&A, but the Q&A is almost too formatted. What really happens is then after you're done presenting in a pitching competition or in an elevator, a conversation happens later. And that conversation could end up happening with anybody on your team. It could be, if you're the business-minded student or the business-minded entrepreneur, you may have a tech person who ends up in the conversation in the elevator, and then they're asked a question. And if they can't necessarily answer that question well, if it's a base level question, that comes off to the person who you're presenting to, and maybe the reason you don't get that follow-up meeting. So practicing this among your entire team is hugely important. And the more everybody on your team, even if it is your business person talking about a little bit of the technical aspects of your business, or the technical person talking about the business aspects and how the money works, it's going to instill confidence in whoever you're talking to, because what that does is it shows, oh, it's so straightforward how this all works and well thought out that it just makes sense for me to want to know more or get involved. Now I saw Joseph, you put something in the chat there. Hey Joe, could I email you my elevator pitch when I come up with my refined 1 or 2 options? 100%, Joseph. Definitely you can email it to me. Also, if you wanted to, I am very happy. I have one-to-one mentorship meetings that I'm now doing virtually. So if you wanted to book in for one of those, you can go either to the Tangent website, or what I'll do for you guys here is I'll put my link in here. And if anybody wants to book a one-to-one mentorship meeting with me, you're more than welcome to. It'll just take me a minute to do, so I'll do that at the end when I'm kind of wrapping up. But yes, you could definitely email it to me, Joseph. You have my email, and if for whatever reason I have a challenge with that, we can follow up and I can do a mentorship meeting with you. I'm happy to have you practice and be one of the sounding boards for your presentation. So guys, like as I said, today's is a bit shorter. We don't have as many videos to go through, and the workshop kind of mirrors pretty exactly what we went through. But if you guys do have questions, feel free to pop them into the chat. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my mentorship link, and I'll put it in the chat so anybody who wants to book a one-to-one virtual mentorship meeting with me can. And as I do that, then I'll figure out what's coming next. So just give me 2 seconds. If you guys have questions, put them in the chat for me. I'm going to just grab that right now.